in politics. And why is there a lot of money? Because fundamentally, all those people who are speaking Rotary, by and large, we don't care about the democratic process. We don't vote. Jamshedpur city voted 18%. So guys like me have no chance. Honestly, just no chance. I won because of a strange combination of stars which brought me to the Indian Police Service, and I did some work, and so that's the only reason. If I was a normal guy like trying to get into the political system because I want to work the country, I would have never won. Absolutely no chance. So the reason why guys like us will never win, and that's why we will never change. And I'm not saying I'm good for the country or bad, but I'm just making a certain assumption. Is because we don't vote. So if Rotary wants to change this country, you need to forget Anna Hazare's movement. It's a great movement. I'm saying it's not bad at all. We get very agitated, we want to send mails, but we just don't do the simple thing of voting. And we don't tell others to. And then we complain. So the basic issue is, if you want to change this country, I would request Rotary to drive. One of the most important change you can do to corruption is to, when you vote, it becomes expensive. You see, what does politicians do? To win an MLA election, you actually need only 25,000 votes approximately. You can buy 25,000 people. When 2 lakh people vote, you can't buy 2 lakh people. And I'll tell you about money in elections. On the day of elections in Lok Sabha, there are 2,000 booths. You have to put 5% per booth for the polling. You have to parcha dete hain ki BJP ka jhanda hai, JDM ka jhanda hai. By the way, please don't vote for me, but my party symbol is the Om Tangi, just in case you'll also see this today. I don't know why you also see this, but I was just telling you, the Kangi is my party symbol. But anyway, I'll tell you about the Kangi later on. But the important part is, 5 guys per polling booth, 200 rupees is the minimum, 400 rupees is the minimum per person to make him stand at the booth. You put 5 people, 400 into 5 is 2,000. There are 2,000 booths in the Lok Sabha election. The day of the election, you need 40 lakh rupees. What are we talking about anything else? So that one day you need 40 lakh rupees. And by the way, that 40 lakh is actually the cheapest you can get. They will laugh at you. We didn't have that kind of money. We couldn't put people on the booths. People came on again an aberration, a mistake. People spent 10,000 per booth. So 10,000 per booth into 2 is 2 crore rupees. Now why do we have to spend? Because we don't vote. And if you look at the urban people who complain the most, and I belong to that side, because there are 200 cities in this country, so you can actually send 150 Lok Sabha members to the parliament who can be absolutely enlightened, and you can choose the right guys. But why do the bad guys get it? Because we don't vote. So we watch a lot of Anna Hazare. The amount of time we watch, saying on corruption and all that, and agitating and discussing and debating and all that. I would just say that take that half an hour or 1 hour a day on the voting day and just vote, irrespective of what you do. But that is the first step in making this country cleaner. Believe me, we have a chance right now in India to become Denmark, or we have a chance to become Somalia. And the way we are all behaving, we genuinely will go towards Somalia. If you go to the Lok Sabha, it's the richest club in the country. The guys are filthily rich in my Lok Sabha. They're really, really rich. And they were never rich when they came into the Lok Sabha. So that's very interesting. They were not rich before they became politicians. Because we continuously disengage. So the intelligent class, the well-off class is continuously, and then we complain. And I look at it from inside, okay, because I believe that I come from a background which is similar to yours. And I get very disheartened. So first thing is, we want to change the system, stop complaining, let's start convincing people to vote. The second reason of corruption is government officials have discretion. You see, the netas take money to fight election. The government officers have discretion. तुमको license नहीं देगा, आपको देगा, इसको नहीं देगा, correct? And the netas and the politicians control transfers and postings. You see, how do the politicians make money? By deciding who gets posted where and where. So the two fundamental corruptions are money in politics because of you don't vote. And the government officials get transferred. So if you are able to tackle voting and preventing the politicians from transferring government officials, that is our actual Anna Hazare moment. I keep arguing with Bharat, Prashant Bhushan and Arvind Kejriwal, and I keep telling them, I think that the movement is fine, it is good, I mean, to a large extent. But they just seem to miss the main point. That you cannot police, you need to give fundamental, you need to go at the root cause. All the Tata Motors guys will say, because, so that's the perspective I want you to understand. One thing I've noticed, that you guys are looking already sad, and you really look already so sad after listening to me. I mean, I must be an extremely sad guy, but it's important to talk to you. And why do I, take this trouble to speak to all of you every time is with a fundamental hope that it will hit somewhere down and you'll start talking about it and doing something about it. And Mr. Ramothi, who's my colleague who works with me, says, my MP is a bit of a crazy guy. He gives the same speech to 5 guys in speech with the only belief that it's going to hit somewhere and we're going to get the thought process. That we can change this country. And I believe genuinely, you won't believe it. I get 2 guys in the railway compartment, I give them the same speech. So don't call me next year because you hear the same stuff. Seriously, because, but I want you to understand that. We keep talking about stuff in this country of what we need to do, what is wrong and all that, and we just don't do the basics. The other question is, and I want to share with you, and that's interesting, I want to take you through a couple of slides. So I come from a middle class family. My grandfather was an absolute illiterate, and that's very interesting. My grandfather was illiterate. All my uncles and aunts are illiterate. The only person who studied was my dad. And he got into the Indian Foreign Service, and that's why my life is good. And then he educated the rest of it. It's an accidental chance. Believe me, when we all do social work and see where we are doing a great thing, it's a fundamental error of a DNA. It is not because we are good, because we were born in families which were well off. So if you believe that you are competent and that's why you are so good, you're absolutely wrong. You're just here purely because your dad was well off. All of us. Your dad put us into school. So if we seriously start thinking that it is our competence, I every day go through this. I look at some bright children and I say, man, am I lucky? It's a sheer accident that my mother met my father and we were born. My father had a job and he could put me through school. And that is very important to us to understand. So anyway, I looked at my career and my mother said, listen, look, I was very happy when you became a doctor, then you did the dumbest thing, you became a policeman, which was okay, one step down. And then you become a politician. Can you imagine how disappointed the mothers feel? You see, Descent of Man, I don't know if you read that book. Yeah, right, okay. That's it. And that's it. I'm not from Jharkhand originally, at least I was born in Bangalore. And I look at my own life and I look at it and say that it's surely a matter of sheer luck. And there must be a purpose in this whole thing, in God's wisdom, or whatever you want. If some of you who don't believe in God, I apologize, but let's imagine in an intelligent design or whatever you want to call it, Stephen Hawking calls that. No money, so it's accidental. So why do I take this trouble to speak to you? It's not because I enjoy giving this lecture, believe me. I seriously believe that a group of people who have the intention to change can change the world. And that's the only thing which has actually happened. So I made this effort in the belief, that it will strike a chord and get all of us thinking. So when you don't have money, you think, I just want to go to it. It's interesting, about life. When I came to fight these elections, everybody said, hey, all the experts, all the people I rang up, which is very interesting in life. I thought I had a lot of friends, so I rang them up, but then, they disconnected the phone, so I had no money. Okay. You really know how much your friends are worth when they stop talking to you and when your elections are there. So, I put my house on sale, because I rang up my wife and it was the 20th of June. So I rang up my wife and said, listen, I can't do this, I have no money. She said, what's your problem? We have enough money. I said, how are you going to say it? She said, don't worry, I'll arrange something for you tomorrow. The next day, she sends me my house papers there. My house in Ashiana, my wife decides to sell it. And I don't know if you've ever tried to sell a house in distress. Everybody said it was 1 crore rupees, when you sell it, it's 50 lakhs. You try it out. When you're desperate, everybody knows it. And guys thought I'm going to lose, so they were really, really going for 40 lakhs. So I went to sell my house. But then a magic happened. When I went to sell my house, the people, and it's unfortunate, that all the people who reached out to me were not the people I'm speaking to. All the people who reached out to me were the Thelawalas. So outside my house, in the morning, there are 200-300 people. 500 rupees, 50 rupees, 100 rupees there. I go to Mango, there's a Thelawala who gives me 2,000 rupees and says, look, there's 1,000 bucks, you're an honest guy. I hope you win. So I said, hey, how much do you have? So he said, listen, he thought I needed more because I looked desperate. Because I didn't have money, so you have that look when you don't have money. So he said, I can give you only 500, I give you 1,000 by a lot of difficulty. I said, give me 100 bucks. Okay. So I took 100 from him. Just in case you wanted to know the details, because I only took 100, because you might say, kaise aadmi hai, thela wala se 20,000 rupees like that. Because all those people who I knew didn't give me money. And then we used to go to the villages and people used to chuck money, 5 rupees, 10 rupees, 20 rupees, into the car. And then I said, there's something happened. We can fight this election without money. And that's the most interesting thing. You don't need much. It's just if you're able to get people to vote. So, okay, next. Then you're innovative. So when you're desperate, you're innovative, and all the press guys said, that's interesting. I went to one of the leading newspapers of Jamshedpur, pretty desperate, in his... Hey, that's the most disappointing thing. I go to Padamda, okay, and it's raining, cats and dogs. And I'm going and campaigning and shaking hands, talking to people in and out, houses after houses. And there's this guy from the other party, Mr. Banna Gupta, there's no problem about that. So Banna comes and he inaugurates a small office and then there's a lot of press and all that, and he goes back. Next day's newspaper has got my photograph, in that old digital camera which was 1940 digital, because you can't make out whether I'm an animal or a dog or a rat or a cat. Ajoy Kumar Padanda ka daura kiya. Small, somewhere corner page 16 or something. And big letters, Banna Gupta ka tufani daura. So much for paid advertisement. And then the editor tells me, Boss, Ajay Babu, why the hell are you fighting here? So I said, listen, tell me, what's my chance? He said, Jamanat bachega to sir bahut acha karega. Now that's interesting, right? And all this is fantastic experience. I mean, I'm not just, but I got the best job in the world, believe me. I get up every day. I think it's the best job in the world. The ability to work for others. I get paid for it, it's awesome. And now guys give me money because, when you ask for money for somebody else and then you become an MP, I think it's a lot of, they believe you have a nuisance value, so they're reasonably generous. That's not the intention which I get into, but I'm just saying that it's much more easier to raise money. And so we started with simple promises. So we met most of the promises. I want to tell you something how simple, elegant can be. Dr. Prasad is here, so I need, when I used to travel, I used to meet a lot of handicapped people in the villages. The handicapped people get 200 rupees, the children get 200 rupees, but they get a lot of benefits in school, college fees, everything else.